It is a pleasure to be contributing to this conference on an extremely important topic, and I do so as we are facing an unprecedented global prison overcrowding crisis. Data suggests that the number of prisoners exceeds official capacity in at least 120 countries. But this is an underestimate, as many countries base their calculations on minimal space per prisoner. PRI has noted in its Global Prison Trends report repeatedly that prison overcrowding is not a consequence of people becoming more criminal, but rather it's a symptom of dysfunctional criminal justice systems and political responses to crime. The long-term solution to prison overcrowding lies in the reform of policies and laws and the use of alternatives to imprisonment as required by the UN Tokyo Rules on non-custodial measures, as well as the UN Bangkok Rules on women offenders. The solution is not to build new prisons. The European Parliament has stated in a report, quote, "Increasing prison capacity is not the sole solution to overcrowding, as the prison population tends to rise at the same rate as increases in prison capacity." We see this time and time again. A key part of my organisation, Penal Reform International, is to end the unnecessary use of imprisonment through promoting alternatives to prison which support the rehabilitation of offenders and reduce the likelihood of reoffending. Alternatives only work, however, if they respond to the needs of the offender, if they respond to the root causes of their offending behaviour. And for women, these root causes are typically different to those for men. Poverty, violence, childcare responsibilities are all common themes for reasons behind women's conflict with the law. Bearing this in mind, PRI implemented a project in Kenya where we delved deeper into how typical non-custodial sanctions, probation and community service, could be better suited for women. The project sought to put the UN Bangkok Rules into practice. The Bangkok Rules were adopted in 2010 at the UN General Assembly unanimously by 193 member states. They are a recognition that women in the criminal justice systems have different needs, and they are also a commitment to meeting these needs through specific measures which are laid out in the 70 rules. The Bangkok Rules supplement the 1990 Tokyo Rules by bringing a gender perspective. They recognise that despite all of the evidence that prison does irrevocable damage to women and also to their children, the female prison population is growing at a much faster rate than we see with the male prison populations globally. And also women are often in prison for minor, petty, non-violent crimes. The rules therefore require the development and implementation of appropriate responses to women offenders and require resources to be made available for devising suitable alternatives to address the most common problems leading to women's conflict with criminal justice systems. Rule 61 also requires courts, when sentencing women, to consider mitigating factors, and they list non-exhaustively lack of criminal history and relative non-severity in nature of the criminal conduct, carrying responsibilities and typical backgrounds. So with these provisions in mind, our project provided guidance through a model for reform to other countries on how to implement a new approach to community service and probation for women. Also, we sought to illustrate how to address gender inequality in such community sanctions, given that these sanctions were usually designed with the needs of the male majority population in mind, and therefore they failed to address women's specific circumstances. So today I wanted to highlight 4 key features of the project. First of all, it was evidence-based. We undertook a study to analyse the system, and we spoke with women serving community sanctions and other key stakeholders. Second of all, it was locally led. Based on the recommendations from the study, the existing tools used by probation officers were analysed, adapted and piloted to ensure that gender aspects were captured in pre-sentencing reports. Probation staff sensitised and briefed staff in the field in several areas so that these adapted tools could be tested. This partnership approach between PRI and the probation department was critical to the success of the project. Thirdly, the project is replicable. Described by a range of stakeholders as pioneering, replication of the project was intended from its inception, and therefore the project's steps, challenges and observations were documented and are available for everybody. Fourthly, the project was evaluated through an external evaluation which assessed relevance, effectiveness, impact and sustainability. So first of all, the study that we undertook on the profile of women offenders serving community sentences in Kenya analysed the existing system, and the findings highlighted common problems for women serving such sanctions, including the fact that women bear the bulk of caretaking responsibilities in the families, not just for children but also for extended family members. And like other research we have done on women in criminal justice systems, most had low levels of education and were extremely low earners. We found that certain offences had affected women more than men, and that these offences were related to poverty and their gender-specific circumstances. For example, many women were convicted under the Alcohol Licence Act, which included brewing alcohol without a licence. They explained that they had done this because the supplies could be bought on credit and they could earn money by selling the alcohol from their home while continuing to care for their children. Other common offences were also linked to economic need, including collecting firewood for cooking, which is a prosecutable offence, and also cutting grass. Voices of women interviewed showed that offending was largely an impact of poverty. Our research found the following challenges faced by women in serving community service. These were all of a very practical nature. For example, they struggled to afford the cost, and also there was long distances to travel to their workstation to complete their unpaid community work. The length and scheduling of such community work and appointments also with their probation officers were difficult, and so they struggled to earn a livelihood through casual work, as such casual works clashed with their schedules to do with their community service or probation. They also faced physical and mental health issues. They lacked the appropriate tools for the community work, often needing to borrow such tools from neighbours, etc. They faced stigmatisation from community members, and, for example, people at their children's school were judging them because they were serving probation. There was a lack of family support as a common theme, and also the nature of the work and safety for them at the workstation where they served their community service was raised by some women. One important point that we found was that there was a general lack of programs to support their economic empowerment, to support their mental health, to support the problems that they were facing in their lives. And women explained in interviews that the way community service was set up interfered with their ability to care for children and earn money. Therefore, it was creating or worsening the cycle of poverty that they were in. Therefore, our recommendations focused around the need for greater understanding of the needs of women and factors that led to their offence, from the pre-sentencing stage right through to the supervision of these women. And that pre-sentence reports and tools used by probation and courts were usually gender neutral. They needed to be adapted to ensure that gender-specific aspects could be captured and known by the criminal justice stakeholders. And lastly, that support programs and skill building to address factors that lead to offending, such as poverty, lack of life skills and confidence, as well as parenting and relationship stress, were critical. So the lessons that we learnt for replication in other contexts and countries are that an evidence-based approach is required. Local tools should be adapted rather than developing new tools imposed from another country or another area outside. There's the advantage of localised sensitisation, peer-to-peer sensitisation, and that gender-sensitive approaches can also benefit men. We also found that inclusion of other stakeholders is needed to ensure systems can meet the needs of women, such as magistrates. So on our website, www.penalreform.org, there's a suite of resources that can help you to implement an approach that is relevant and effective for women offenders with regards to alternatives. We have the research report and a summary which distills not only the findings from Kenya but also other research relevant. And also we have tools and a training workshop on gender-sensitive non-custodial measures, some blogs, commentary and a video which I would like to invite you to watch now. PRI hopes that this new approach for women provides some food for thought and our resources can help efforts towards ensuring a more suitable criminal justice system for women. Thank you very much and I wish you all productive discussions at this conference.